asking questions online, when it comes to people seeking advice on Reddit or on forums, I do believe there are indeed some people who have genuine desire for help. They have a genuine need to know something and they want to just find the answer and they're desperate. So I'm not trying to ridicule them. However, what you have to understand in life is that behavior is a language. This post is about a woman who's 33. She said she's been with her boyfriend for nearly 7 years. He's also 33. She says, I love him and want to get married and feel insecure that he hasn't proposed. If in 7 years, ladies, I talk about this a lot because it's important. Stop wasting your time with long-term relationships and you're not married. As Allie Beth Stuckey says, if he wanted to, he would. If he wanted to marry you, he would. Men are very, very clear. We're clear about what we want. If you and your man are not married, it's because he doesn't want to marry you. And I'm talking about after 6 months. After 6 months, a man knows. In 90 days, you really get to know a person. That's why most jobs have a 90-day probationary period. Because in 90 days, you know, is someone honest? Is someone fair? Is someone on time? Does the person work hard? Does the person make excuses? Their work ethic. You see all those things in 90 days. So double that, 180 days, you know someone pretty decently to know. Now, you don't know everything about them, but you know, I think I want to spend the rest of my life with it. I think I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. And that is important. In 7 years, her man hasn't proposed. Now she's saying, now here she says, before people come at me for why I don't propose, I was the one who asked him out first. First red flag. Except he wasn't ready, and it took 2 years before he was ready. I was the one who asked for us to move in after 3 years of dating, and he dragged his feet during this. We have a lot of history, but it is stuff like this that has made me feel insecure and unloved during dark times in our relationship. I've made it absolutely clear that when it comes to marriage, I need him to take initiative so that I feel wanted and loved back when it comes to milestones in our relationships. I don't want to spend the next 50 years of my life feeling this one-sided love or that I pushed him into this. Okay, so outside of, I encourage everyone to read the entire post. Okay, just to be fair, I will say this, just in that. So you're the one that has to ask him out, and you're the one who said, "Well, let's move in together," and you say, "Well, he dragged his feet here, he dragged his feet there. He wasn't ready to start dating. It took him 2 years. 2 years. He didn't want you. He doesn't want you. He's not. I want him to. Well, I want when it comes to marriage, I want him to take the initiative. He's not going to. Behavior is a language. In the time you've been with him, on all significant matters in regards to your relationship, he has not taken initiative. Why would he start now? For what reason would he do that? You asked him out. You said, "Hey, let's move in together." You're going to be the one to propose. He doesn't want to marry you. Ladies, you need to know that. If you're not married let me say this. A man knows in 6 months. If you're not married, within a year after that, there's a problem. There's genuinely a problem. And people can talk about timing and, the wedding. Who cares about the wedding? Stop worrying about these other random people. They don't matter in terms of your marriage. Marriage is a two-handed circle. The second thing is, timing. People say, well, how do you know you're ready for marriage? What a stupid question. You're never ready. There is no ready for marriage. Even if you do premarital counseling, which, I don't actually think there's any benefit to it. There's nothing in there that says, hey, now you're ready to get married. No, there is no ready. There is no right time and there is no ready. But in 6 months, a man knows if he wants to marry you. I see posts like this, and I hear stories like this a lot of these people who are dating and they want to get married. These women want to get married, but they're like, we've been together for 5 years, 6 years. I shared that story with you guys about that woman I helped at my job. And she was like, oh, she saw my wedding band, and she's like, oh, so how old are you? Because she saw that I was around the same age as her. And at the time I was 24, and I said, yeah, I'm 24. And she's like, you're married? I said, well, no, we're getting married. I think it was like a couple months. And she was like, gosh, that sucks. Like, she was upset. And I just told her, I said, well, how long have you and your man been together? And she said a few years. And I said, yeah, he doesn't want to marry you. He doesn't want to marry you. And she didn't like that I said that. And she was there with her friend. But I told her, I said, your man knows he wants to marry you. If you've been married for years and he hasn't asked you to marry him, it's because he doesn't want to. Language is behavior. Ladies, if your man is not proposing to you within a year, that's it. That's it. I'm just telling you. He doesn't want to marry you. He really doesn't. If he wanted to, he would. Money is not the issue. Oh, it's expensive to get married. No, you're talking about a wedding. You're talking about a wedding. My wife and I didn't have a wedding. Let me go through this real quick. In all of the states, it costs at the most $130 to get married. $130. The least amount is about $10-15 if you go through all the states. It's very, very cheap to get married. Going back to this article, or this post, I should say. 3 years ago, around our 4-year mark, I hinted that I was ready for marriage. However, when one day his aunt randomly made remarks about whether we were getting married soon, and he said, haha, no. This sparked a fight between us because I felt incredibly rejected by him before us even coming that far. While he claimed that he just felt embarrassed by his aunt bringing up something so personal at a family dinner, and that isn't how he truly feels. Since then, marriage has been a sore spot for me, especially when things did not change. Your man is a liar, and your man is scared. That's the reality. So when are you two going to get married? No. Are we close to getting married? No. That's a problem. The 4-year mark? At 4 years? Are you guys close to getting married? Like, for example, when I hear about couples that are at this stage, I already know the guy doesn't want to marry you. Like, it's very, very clear. Oh yeah, we've been dating for 4 years, and oh, okay. I don't even ask when's the wedding. I never ask that because I know there isn't going to be one. And if there is going to be one, it's because the guy eventually gives her a shut up ring, and he's just like, oh, just to keep you quiet, fine. It's not because he actually wants to. Now people will say, there are critics who will say, well, you've already moved in together. And I moved my wife in with me. I told her before we even got together, I said, I'm going to marry you. So the living together does not necessarily, the living together before marriage does not necessarily mean that you don't want to marry the person that you're with. That's not necessarily true. I don't know where that came from. I don't know where that belief came from. But it's not true for everyone. It just isn't. When you want to marry someone, you're going to marry someone. Sometimes you have to adapt to the situations. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. We've had other general fights and stuff, broke up for a month, which, another red flag. If you guys ever break, you can't, once you break something, it's never going to be the same again. It just isn't. If you break up with your person, you can't get that back. You can't get that back. I don't care how hard you try, because you can